Squadron 42 is feature complete, and man, is there excitement in the air. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and yeah, Squadron 42, the single-player version of Star Citizen, is coming soon. I Held the Line is the name of their newest trailer, and I wanted to take a look at it with you here today and kind of break it all down, watch it kind of in a live format. I really don't think I have to do much else here other than literally watch the YouTube video with you and break down some of the things, my thoughts, and explain a few things about both Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Seems to have been well received. Many of you have been asking me to react to the trailer, to which I've already done so live on the channel. So thanks again to all of you for subscribing and smashing that like button and giving suggestions. And now that I've had a few days to kind of break this down in my mind and think about it in comparison to Star Citizen, where the tech is, and compare it to other games like Starfield and really anything with Star in the title, and see where we are in gaming of 2023. There's certainly a lot of hype and anticipation and excitement here, but as always, you know, it's kind of like a burrito where the more things that you add and the more flavors that are involved, you know that's going to fall apart right when you put your face into it. And oftentimes it looks silly, but hey, a burrito is good, damn it. And I'm happy to see some more stuff for Star Citizen and, well, Squadron 42, really. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the trailer, which features a hell of a lot of different actors, some really great music, awesome cinematics and scenes, good animation, and a breakdown from the team that explains exactly what they've accomplished so far, tweaks and polish that they've done, and things that they have yet to do, as well as a release date. Spoiler, they don't really actually say. But still, here we go. Jump in now to Squadron 42 with me, and let's take our first look together. All right, so I'm going to be the laziest I've ever been here, and we're literally just going to break down the video by watching it. It certainly is a reaction video, but I think there's going to be a lot of things here that, as a person who's probably invested about 1,000 hours or more into Star Citizen, that I could say about Squadron 42. Here we go.
Archangel 6, come in.
Go for 6.
I'm getting a faint contact on bearing 287. You picking that up?
Yeah, got it. Scanning now. We're clear. Commercial vessel out of Vega 3. Provided that the civilian traffic is restricted under lockdown.
One thing that many of you have told me about this scene and many of the parts of Star Citizen and equal to that in Squadron 42 is that there's really no cutscenes here. Everything is kind of, everything that you're seeing here and in the next few minutes is all just one scene. There's no real loading screens. There's transitions between ships docking and whatnot, but everything that you see is like already here, loaded in, and it's almost as if these worlds are one complete piece between these ships when they dock and the ship in which they're docking on.
Copy that.
Archangel, this is Krugeri.
Come back, Gary.
Redirect to Sector 7 Bravo Echo for immediate tasking.
Copy that. On our way.
Yeah. Wow. The music, the scene with the fleet all in the background like that, incredible. And I believe this might actually be Earth, and this is the basically like the Earth Defense Force or fleet here with all sorts of different ships that you might recognize from other parts of Star Citizen, and then also ones that we've only heard about, and a lot of new stuff here too. So damn good to see. And yeah, epic cutscene, epic intro, very good. Got to say, the music choice here is very much like Christopher Nolan. I'm feeling a little bit of like what they used in Dunkirk with I believe there were Spitfires going across Dunkirk, and just the music trying to build hype and transition of time and whatnot. It feels like we're in the midst of a coming battle, which we are. And as we're about to see some characters here, I hope all of you are paying attention to some very famous actors that are about to be on screen, some of which you may remember from many years ago on television. So we'll see if you can see them.
I know I just wrote you, but a couple of hours ago, proximity sensors on the
other side of the jump got twigged. Word is it might be that clan we've been battling with. I guess that last fight didn't scare them off
quite like we all hoped it would. Honestly, we've been out here so long, I don't know what to
pull for anymore. I just wanted to let you know.
I'll write as soon as I can. Stay safe. Your loving son.
So the Moby Glass from Star Citizen is here, and I think that transition is to showcase that you will be able to play whatever main character you want to. You can create whomever you wish, and that's you. Whether you want to make a fictional character or something based on you, it's not like there is the main character. There is you, the main character, who you want to make. But pretty cool. And the Moby Glass here is something we see often in Star Citizen for checking missions, and it looks like it's really well done here. Very simplistic, good UI, and I hope they actually make it as a menu that we can use in the game, so that way there's no cutscenes or transitions away from standing somewhere and having to access something or look at your inventory while you're standing in like the I don't know, like a hallway or a locker room or something like that. Very slick, very cool system in both Star Citizen and Squadron 42.
Never gets old, does it?
Sir.
Eddies. I used to do the same thing when I was first coming up. Post up to the flight deck whenever I could to watch the launches. Have you seen the F-8s up close?
No, sir.
The thing's a beast. Nimble, too.
12 maneuvering thrusters and 3 mains. It sure sounds like it. Sir.
Captain McLaren, to the bridge. Captain McLaren, to the bridge.
Very familiar face. I didn't recognize it at first until the chat had mentioned it. But yeah, X-Files, Mulder and Scully. Actually, that's the vibe I'm getting here right now. Hair is a little different. But the voice is almost unmistakable, as of course being Agent Scully from. And I always forget the actress's name, and I apologize. But there'll be a lot more of this. But this bridge cutscene, very cool, or the observation deck, and very Star Citizen to have it looking like this as well. Very, very Squadron 42. The lighting, the floor, everything being a plastic, chrome, metal like this, very much fits this ship.
I saw you apply to the Flight Academy again.
Yes, sir.
Keep your head up. Took me a couple times before I got in.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so before we get back to Earth here, Sol System Earth, yeah, boring. Gillian Anderson is that actress's name, and yeah, that end scene there, looking out at all the other things, all the other ships, very Star Citizen as well. And I'm hoping that this game does a very good job of matching or surpassing what we see in Star Citizen, and it looks like it's doing that so far through the cutscenes.
Welcome to Cloud Imperium Games Manchester Studio. I'm Chris Roberts, and I'm pleased to announce we have just passed a major milestone. Squadron 42 is now feature complete and has entered its polish phase. To celebrate this milestone, we've gathered some of our core leadership together to share what this means.
As Chris says, we've moved into the polish phase of Squadron 42, which means extra emphasis on ensuring things feel fun.
All right, so there's some choppy frame rates and things here, and a lot of things I think that we can nitpick about what they are mentioning about polish. But again, I think any sort of knee-jerk reaction to frame rate, performance, graphics, animation that glitches out or whatnot, throughout this entire trailer, I myself was looking for these types of things. And there certainly is a thing or two, and I'll point them out as we go. But for a game that's now entered the polish phase, I hope that they take like a long time. I hope they take it like a next year or so to really make this a cinematic masterpiece. And yeah, Chris Roberts, the guy at the very beginning there, that's the the main man right there, wing commander and all, now working on Star Citizen and Squadron 42. And another thing to mention about Star Citizen 2 is that long ago, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning, when I first played Star Citizen during one of the free weekends, I can't remember what it was for, but you know, there's Fleet Week and expos and other events that Star Citizen has for a free fly event where it's like, hey, come on in. You don't have to pay anything. No one need to buy a ship. Just come on in, hang out with friends. Maybe some of your friends already have a ship. I saw the Carrack. One of the major ships in that game, a big ship, big ship. There's even bigger ships than that now, but it was the big boy at the time. Brought me to tears, truly did, and people pointed that out on Reddit, and people reacted to it. And I was floored at how that game was able to simulate such a massive ship, and that it was actually fully flyable. Now, when when Starfield came around, I was hoping for that same feeling, but it felt like a lot smaller, and of course there were load screens and things between that, but despite all the issues of Star Citizen, which I'm frustrated beyond belief about, like elevators still breaking and inventories disappearing and things being choppy or rushed feeling, and people saying, well, don't worry, they'll get it in the next patch, because why fix it now when they can just fix it in the next big moment? I guess I understand that too, but I hope a lot of the things that frustrate me about Star Citizen are kind of forgotten with Squadron 42, so long as it's very polished. And so I am rooting for Squadron 42 to really impress a lot of people, and that they want to try out Star Citizen because of all these recent games about we have Starfield and we have, you know, Star Wars and Star Trek getting games all the time, whether or not they're RTS games of those franchises or whatnot. I want this one to knock it out of the park, and I really have. I've been happy to see a lot of other people not taking Star Citizen as a joke anymore. Which I think, you know, they've taken an astronomical amount of time to bring something to that game. But yeah, I still want Star Citizen to succeed, and I hope Squadron 42 is one of those big steps forward and saying, yay, we did a thing, and that should earn trust. And I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Everybody over there, Chris Roberts and the whole team, come on, let's do it. All right, let's watch.
This means focusing on the small and large elements of the game, such as dialing in combat encounters, but also looking at the feel of how you control your character or vehicle and making sure it's immersive as possible. We've paid extra attention to how your character reacts when in their ship, so that you feel like an actual pilot, whether that's firing your weapons, taking hits, or punching the afterburners to get to cover. Ship AI has also seen huge improvements, with closer engagement distances and more varied behaviors, and with our new precision targeting mode, the action has never been as close.
Gotta say, I am probably one of the biggest fans out there of Ace Combat and flight simulators that are arcadey, and Starfield certainly played that way, but I think still Star Citizen, and now looking at this, I think Squadron 42 will do it better. Again, going back to what I said about the jankiness and whatnot, I think the developers are putting the best equipment on the market, their game on this, these computers, in order to showcase this trailer. So I think a lot of the frame rate, like for example what we saw with the explosion and whatnot, if they're this far, if it looks this good now, it could only get better. I really hope, and I hope we don't get some sort of last minute City Skylines 2 situation where the they basically just put the NASA logo as the minimum system requirements, and nobody can play without a beastly system, and or it's just kind of the requirements are so high that it's like only a few people get to experience it. I hope that's not the case, but so far so good. Looking great. Love the HUD here. I'm not exactly sure what kind of ship this is. If you do know, go ahead and give it a shout out. I see the gimbal mode and whatnot. More fighters, by the way. One of the most enjoyable ships in the game is fighters when you're flying with solo or maybe with another co-pilot. Some of the bigger ships are just, flying fortresses, hotels, and big trucks, what they feel like. But these nimble fighters are something that I always get envious of, seeing other players with racing ships, for example, zipping through canyons and city skylines. Not the game, but actually like on certain planets of Star Citizen. And I hope to see that here too. I hope there's a great high-speed chase or something through a planet city. That would be fantastic.
With the aim now on polish, we've organized the project into self-sufficient strike teams, so we can focus on individual areas to deliver the best experience.
Get out of sight. The cutlass is gonna spot you.
That was another familiar face up there. We'll see if you can guess who that may have been. But this sequence, for whatever reason, reminded me a lot of Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare 2 specifically, with the canyon chase towards the end with General Shepard. It's where it ends in the whole Rust multiplayer battle map where you throw the knife through his eye. Seeing this cutscene on the second run through, I'm a little like, where it's like, this could be the beginning of the game, towards the early sections where it's very polished, looks beautiful, but you never get to experience something like this again. So I hope we get more vehicles. This is the only other vehicle I think they show other than spaceships and, both fighters and carriers and destroyers and et cetera, et cetera. This is the only other time I think we see something that is a extra terrestrial vehicle. Star Citizen has a lot of off-road vehicles, mining equipment, like quads and things that are like equivalent to golf carts and APCs and large mining vehicles. So I hope we get to see more boats, possibly like submarines and mechs and other things like that. Star Citizen also has a huge array of vehicles that are like anti-aircraft and are designed to shoot down and or are tanks, like literally modern-day military equipment that's spacified, essentially. So I hope we see something other than this boat, which this cutscene's great. I just hope we don't see just one of it. I see this oftentimes where I'm like, damn, that looks good. We've all seen those sequences in Call of Duty where they swim to an oil rig or something underwater, and they talk about how every fish is simulated, every fish is its own individual. And then that cutscene plays once for about 3 minutes, and you never remember it again until some YouTuber mentions it in a Squadron 42 video. You know what I mean? Yeah.
This allows us to bring all disciplines together with a unified vision of enhancing the gameplay by seamlessly blending it with polished visuals, final cinematic performances, and our ever-improving technology.
You didn't see the boat, kid. You're good to keep going.
We're also dialing in gameplay features, such as the ship flight model for both atmosphere and space, which covers master modes, control surfaces, and our gold standard HUD and MFDs. Our interaction system for both the world and your character have also seen additional improvements, allowing us to hone and craft environmental puzzles unique to each location, while allowing us to tell the story of the world around you.
Very promising. I forget the name of that tool, but that's something that you often need in Star Citizen to move things around for cargo and whatnot. And it's very important to be able to move larger pieces. And I'm glad that they incorporated some sort of puzzles and things, which means that there'll more than likely be an interesting story where it forces you to slow down a little bit, gather some information from computers or terminals, and figure out what's going on. Great ship combat, like they mentioned, different physics for both on and or in a planet's atmosphere and also out of that in space. And then we'll see some really good gunplay here and interesting other things that we can do besides just shooting at everybody. So good to see the other types of tools that we might be able to utilize. Although I'm not sure if we'll see third person, so keep an eye out for that.
The military multi-tool is an essential piece of equipment for every pilot that integrates all attachments into a single handheld device and allows us to create really interesting challenges, including physics-based puzzles using our updated rope tech.
Updated rope tech. Yeah, so this is something I was kind of laughing at in the first time that I watched this, where very true to what happens in Star Citizen, Squadron 42 seems to be putting, how much does updated rope tech cost? 50, 70, 400 million? I mean, I have no idea. At this point, we could just colonize Mars with the amount of money that these types of things may cost in the real world. So my hopes are that if we're putting money into updated rope tech, that he mentioned, the multi-tool, which I thought it had a different name, but anyway, being able to move that box up into that cart or whatever to move it, which by the way reminds me a lot of how it is to do the prison escape section in Star Citizen as well. But yeah, I'm really hoping that this isn't just like, hey, let's do this thing again. That costs millions of dollars, updated rope tech, which means they've already spent money on it once. Now we're going to update it. I hope that doesn't take away from the game, or it's the thing that's like focused on. It's like, we could have added 3 more guns, but let's do some rope tech, which I think just makes it look very smooth. Like the gondolas here or the gondolas are kind of just swinging a little bit, and you know, we've seen things like that in God of War before, where you move a brick or something like that, a lot of material from point A to point B to move something out of the way in a giant cave or mine. So I don't know if we need updated rope tech to do that. I think players would be totally fine with just kind of a on rails, like, oh, you got thing A into thing B. Now the game will kind of move into a cutscene for it. But yeah.
Unidentified vessels? This is the UEE Navy. Power down your ships and stand by for processing.
Luke Skywalker?
You can f*** off. The coil's ass.
Oh, wow.
Our scanning, targeting, and marker system has also seen an overhaul, allowing us to highlight only the essential information that you need, such as key objectives, mission targets, and high-level scan information, while keeping your overall view as clean as possible.
Damn skank!
The combat is certainly looking a lot, and from what I can recall, feels a lot like War Thunder as well. So lots of good stuff here, and yeah, just it's looking good too. And I appreciate that a lot of these systems are being cared for and updated, and I hope that Squadron 42, with a lot of the tech that's coming here and things that they're adding, also bleeds heavily into Star Citizen. I hope that's actually the case, and I hope both games share a lot of the same things, which obviously it's unmistakable that you know, you could almost take one image and say it's, oh, this is actually from Star Citizen, and like be fooled by that.
Hey, come off me! No!
Tactical FPS combat and stealth, which has seen a suite of improvements, from improved looting, weapon feel and balance, realistic scopes, and smoother locomotion, alongside our new and improved FPS radar and scanner that provides you an overview of the battlefield, but at the cost of ramping up your own emissions. We've also seen the introduction of our Maelstrom-powered destructible environment, which adds a layer of dynamism to the experience, alongside our improved AI, that can now have hundreds of combinations of traits that allow us to create unique and challenging combat encounters that really push your tactical awareness and skill.
The gun sounds here, the environment falling apart like that, and all of the gun like technology, the scopes and whatnot here. I'm getting heavy cyberpunk vibes. It almost feels as if you're in a gunfight in cyberpunk, and that's not a bad thing. I think cyberpunk, of course, say whatever you'd like about its release, certainly did a lot to try to redeem itself, and with the recent DLC for that, did a very good job of just adding guns that had good crunch and sounded good. So sounds here look good. The gunplay looks fun. Love seeing bullets flying through barriers and things like that. And of course, Star Citizen, as with Squadron 42, will have lots of different types of weapons too. Kinetic energy, lasers. Maybe we'll even see grenade launchers and things like that. That will do other things. I don't know, like a sleep grenade or something. Probably not that crazy, but yeah. And this environment here is gorgeous. the fact that it's like an abandoned, I don't know, looks like a highway or some sort of a facility or something like that with trees growing on it again. Nice touch. They've done a very good job in environment design, at least here. Again, I'm hoping this isn't where they've spent all the budget within the first 2 or 3 hours of the game and everything else kind of becomes repetitive space battles, but we will see. So much better death animations too. Yeah, the crunching, the slapping, all the abuse of the weaponry and such, looking plasticky and yet metallic at the same time. Bravo. Good combat so far. Good stuff.
We play and review the builds regularly and call out action points in each level from start to finish and where we need to improve the gameplay. This is an incredibly rewarding stage of development for me and the team, as the ultimate vision of the game is realized, allowing us to craft an experience that we can be really proud of. One specific area that I'm excited to dial in is the...
Well, that confirms third person there, and a beautiful color palette too. Looking like we'll get zero-G missions inside of ships too, which is something I had kind of forgotten about. Not often that we spend time in a ship in zero-G, so I hope there's some zero-G gunfights too. I'd like to see how those take place.
Feeling of the player interacting with the world around them.
Patching you in.
As it's a core component of Squadron and really grounds the world that you inhabit. We've made sure that any interaction in the environment is physically represented by a character animation to keep you in the moment and fully immerse you in the experience that we've created. Ultimately, this is the final phase of gameplay iteration before we fully transition into optimization and stability on the road to release.
Agent Trejo, this is Colton. Come back. Always trips me out to see terraforming setups like this. Webb tried explaining how atmosphere processors work. Really shows how far we've come. What the hell is she?
With the transition of Squadron to polish phase, we've had the opportunity to find additional moments within the existing narrative to add subtle interactions where appropriate. It's been tremendously exciting to play through these areas and find places to augment the mood, support gameplay, and further embellish our story and characters.
So yeah, man, I can't believe it. They said I've got to wait another 2 years before I can reapply. So that's why I figured I'd get a job trying in security, because that's, you know, I can get some hours flying in the cockpit and whatnot. Can't hurt, right? Exactly.
Meow. They're going to have a lot of voice actors here. I'm interested to see all the people who chatter around with you when you are walking around. And to hear, you know, NPC conversations, I think, is important too, especially if it's relevant. And they'll show that a little bit later in this trailer too. Another great thing is that with all the different types of voice actors too, we could see, you know, just more people who are not just necessarily filler, but engineering and maintenance and just random civilians and whatnot. But yeah, when it comes to walking around terminals and whatnot from Star Citizen, I better not see people standing on damn tables and chairs. Don't put money into rope tech and let me see people standing on tables and chairs in the terminal. Come on.
We've also been capturing pickups for our lead female player character, as well as wildlines for our various enemies that you all will encounter throughout the game on both foot and in your cockpit. These consist of a range of responses and reactions that you as the player can trigger which has been the culmination of efforts by the gameplay and AI teams. This means that you're going to have to tangle with some very smart and reactive bad guys to complete your mission.
At the heart of this immersive adventure, you'll find cutting-edge cinematic storytelling, thoughtfully crafted to fully immerse you into your story.
We fight today! So in 40 years from now, when you're surrounded by everything and everyone you hold dear, and they ask, what did you do in the Battle of Vega? You can look them in the eye and say, I held the line. Men and women of the Second Fleet, I am proud to stand with you today. Good luck. Push about.
Nice speech.
Any word from the recon team?
Yeah, they got Commissioner Gordon finally leaving Gotham City to get a new job. No, of course. Obviously, we have ourselves some big names, including Gary Oldman here. Really good cutscenes here. I hope we get cinematic cutscenes like this too, but I'd really like to see more of what the cutscenes will look like in-game, where the player is just standing there and seeing two players, or, well, NPCs, argue or discuss something, but certainly very dramatic. And yeah, they're doing that thing that they always do. Hey, it's your story. You tell your story. It's like, no, you tell the story. You're the one writing it and hiring all these actors. Make it a damn good one. Give us feelings like what we had in Mass Effect and many other of the Telltale games and things, where it's more about almost the more powerful thing here is the story and not necessarily like the gameplay mechanics. Hope we get that. That'd be awesome.
Not yet.
Let's get into position.
Throughout the polish phase, our team is taking every opportunity to push things to the next level.
Tell me you're expecting company?
This is not good.
The Cine team is focused on finalizing edit lock on all of our big action as well as all smaller character sequences.
I could have pulled this off of the Galactopedia.
Yeah, probably, but I think their solar mass calculations are wrong, though.
Well, this is ridiculous.
Hold on. This was really jaw-dropping here. This game goes from Squadron 42 to Starfield back to Squadron 42. The amount of work that they put into the environment, the background. I didn't even really notice or really even care until I saw the side-by-side. And I was like, damn, well, clearly the after is much better than the before. But I hope they continue to improve that. The background set design and whatnot is just phenomenal. Really great. A lot of attention put not only to the actors and capturing the animations, but the like the huge hall that they're in. Good stuff.
How so?
We are now able to adjust our shot composition to final cameras thanks to recently crafted space vistas and level art being content complete now.
It'd be nice to know how much of a shitstorm we're flying into.
More like a hellstorm, Blue. One you ain't gonna fly out of.
Shut up.
Now, I hadn't seen another ship that wasn't trying to kill me in days, let alone a hauler, let alone a Jean. So you can imagine my surprise.
Detailed lighting passes can be done on hero sequences so we can show our cast and convey their emotions in the best light possible. And we're making sure our cinematics are triggering as fluid as we can craft them so they form a coherent concerto with the rest of the player's narrative experience.
Mr. Wexler, this is Lieutenant Commander Colton.
Oh, Commander, hey. Julian Wexler, I'm the field manager of this little operation. Welcome aboard the Archon. What brings the Navy to this little corner of the universe?
We got you flying with Lieutenant Commander Colton. He's one of our best.
As others will share, this is the most rewarding chapter of development, which allows us to truly experience the visceral and oftentimes emotional moments that our narrative provides.
How did you handle it after Vega?
Not sure I handled anything. It helps to remember that stuff like this is supposed to hurt.
I've never been good at dealing with problems I can't fix.
Well, this is one that you don't have to do alone.
That's good to know.
For the animation teams, polish phase means refining the social aspects of Squadron 42 that occur between the various missions and getting the behaviors implemented across all of its chapters. Here we're dialing in the hangar to make it as immersive and believable an experience as possible.
Do it? Done. Okay. All right.
All right, now this is the closest that we're going to get for gameplay for now, of the kind of mundane, boring walking around, but yet very accurate for what you'd expect from anything in the military, where it's not all action-packed all the time, but it's just a lot of upkeep, inventory, repairs, refueling, general chat, people moving things around, and just like, you know, before a mission takes place, or maybe even after, there's just general, you know, stuff going on. It's like just an office place. It's just work. It's nothing special or glorious at that time until the heat of battle. So good that they captured this, of just people kind of, you know, moving like GPU cords around and stuff, you know, like hooking up aircraft to alternative power and adding munitions, or, you know, repairing damage. And this is something that I've really liked about Star Citizen before. Walking around your hangar and inspecting your ship and almost acting as if it were an aircraft inspection before you get on it is pretty cool. Although you're probably going to get your ass towed, you know, in Star Citizen if you take too long. But this is cool. Like the fact that there are spots in this game where it's just, hey, walk to your ship and do that kind of stuff. Sure, you could sprint, probably take an elevator and get there real fast, turbo lift or whatever. But this is what I would imagine being more like Star Trek, really, with like, you know, Geordi and engineering and other people around logistics and whatnot, just taking their time calculating things and, you know, just working and not doing dramatic rolls under the door like Geordi does when it comes time for the warp core to overload, that kind of thing.
I have to switch out some of the interchange on the hangar deck. We're getting a weird airflow. Turning out to be another stuff.
I feel that. Anyway, I'm off. For example, we're launching off a space carrier, but we still ground the feel in real-world actions, refueling, repairing, and inspecting, and making sure that your next flight mission is a success.
That's a big old gun. One of the biggest moments in gaming for me was in Battlefield 3, when you get to launch the F-18, I think it's a Super Hornet, off the carrier, and then go get to do the bombing missions and whatnot. The cinematic, you know, going up the stairs and then seeing your plane come up the elevator and hopping in and getting onto the catapult and all that. All the hustle and bustle, which we've also seen in other, you know, Call of Duty and Medal of Honor games as well, and Battlefield 2. Just seeing all the operation going on, all the kind of people, you know, that you think would just be NPCs, part of the operation. So again, big praise to that, and I'm glad that they have this here and kind of bring it in as a whole part of how missions take place, not just, you know, hit A to enter and then just leave. It makes it cinematic and tedious and slow and gives you respect for the big action.
This means we're looking out for pops, hiccups, or awkward transitions, and ensuring that everything flows and looks like all the great mocap performances we've captured.
Let's ready some extra ice packs out of storage. Whenever gunners are on full rotation, you can always count on at least one of them getting hurt.
We also have you covered in everyday life. The medical staff work diligently for their patients, whether they're players or crew. We really want you to feel part of an authentic crew, an important part of the UEE Navy in an enormous universe of people going about their everyday lives.
That is one hell of a cockpit. Outstanding.
Let's go ahead and clear for takeoff. Ground crew, prep bay for takeoff.
Copy that.
Hangar, ready for launch.
Takeoff approved, Baron 2. You have the ball.
Square the deck and line it up.
We're ready and hold on as you're launched off the deck of the carrier.
Baron 2, you are cleared for launch. Have a safe flight, Baron 2.
We want you to not only decide how you play the game, but to feel as if the people you interact with are in that world with you.
I would have never thought a shotgun could be so pretty. Damn, this R97 is sleek as hell. Like a lot of other weapons in Gemini's arsenal, it has a higher rate of fire than most guns of its type.
We're working to support a feel of authenticity through world traversals, running, jumping, and climbing, interactions with objects and the environment, solid weapon gameplay and enemy reactions, as well as combat realities, such as weapon malfunctions.
Yeah, weapon malfunctions, and again, going back to what I said about like the characters dying, pretty good. I'm not seeing Bethesda tier ragdolling, but it certainly feels like a Bethesda tier game with also maybe a bit of CD Projekt Red in there. When he was speaking with the guy in the armory who handed him the gun, that felt like being somewhere in Cyberpunk, being briefed for a mission where you're getting like a specific gun for the first time. But yeah, all this is good. Feels like a lot of different games, but I think that's just because of what the technology's like for now, for motion capping and for, you know, like what kind of games aim for, so that way they're familiar yet different at the same time. You certainly want that. It's 100 different ways to make chicken, but, you know, I mean, you add a few other ingredients and you're in a whole different world.
Or in close encounters of the more lethal kind. Ooh, that's gonna hurt in the morning. As we continue to focus on the quality experience, we've been working closely with our art teams, and it's been exciting to see their environments come to life alongside us.
While animation and design have been populating the locations, polish phase for my teams means making huge advancements in the quality of our characters and environments. We've established our standard with recognizable characters like Mark Hamill, Gillian Anderson, and Gary Oldman, and we're now applying this to the rest of the cast and identifying any remaining tech requirements that need to be closed down. The story of Squadron 42 takes you through a variety of diverse locations of varying scales and styles. We've shared glimpses of several environments before, and there's still plenty out there for you to discover. One of the main challenges the art team has had to face during the development of Squadron 42 is ensuring the visuals are complementary to the narrative of the script. The mood and feeling of a space is just as important to us as it is making sure we hit the visual quality that CIG has become known for.
Oh, good. We can't hack it from this side. Graves, we got a locked door. Can you give us access?
No, I'm afraid that's a negative, Steve. I would have to add you to our system to give you override permissions, and there's a lot involved in that. It won't happen quickly.
Okay, we'll figure something out.
Small little detail there, seeing, well, Mark Hamill have his wrist up while he was talking with the other character there. You could see him and his facial expressions as the player, but then you could also see it in a cutscene up in the corner. I don't know, just a nice little detail. I'm sure it's been somewhere else, but appreciate it. This environment looks great. Love the mechanicals.
Everything you see during the campaign has been heavily inspired by the classics of 70s and 80s sci-fi, but with a modern twist. We want everything you see to feel like it has a soul, its own personality, and tells of a history long before you arrived. Crafting interesting flight spaces and their connecting tissue has been one of the more unique challenges we've needed to overcome for Squadron. Developing our VDB tech to blend seamlessly between tighter traversal spaces and into wider space vistas and planets has proved incredibly difficult but rewarding, ensuring that Squadron flows seamlessly from one chapter to the next, without interruption. Creating a diverse array of locations is essential to us. Our environments need to work from a variety of scales. We need to pay close attention to detail, whether we're working in a dirty engineering vent or navigating the debris of a dying star, wondering what may be around that next corner, or even who may live there, how would they have survived, and what state of mind may they be in.
Yes, I've been speaking with engineering, they think it might be a problem. Yeah, I'll make sure.
Again, very Star Citizen here. Great to see it in Squadron 42. Just the walking around while you go to your objective. Obviously to talk to the captain or whomever up there. But just nice to see people actually at their stations doing all sorts of different jobs. And it's great to see a little bit of time put into something that makes sense. And Star Citizen does that very good. Not perfect, but it does a lot of good stuff there. And it's nice that they've done that here in Squadron 42.
We've worked closely with our social teams in delivering a cohesive social experience when you're taking some downtime from our refined flight and FPS missions, or even missions of the more eerie kind. We'll be introducing new space stations on a massive scale, all brought together and designed to be as tangible as possible. We've thought about their function, their age, and tried to ensure there's a progression in artistic style with each station as you progress through the game.
This is something that I think Star Citizen and Squadron 42 completely nails, is trying to give a feel to cyberpunk in space, although I think Star Citizen did it first, trying to make these large open spaces, where again you have to walk through them, whether or not it's a bridge of a ship or like a terminal where you're like in an airport with a bunch of little stores and shops and you're going up escalators to go chat with somebody or something like that. I think they did that great. I think games like Cyberpunk try to have not acknowledged that and tried to do a little bit of that. And I also think Starfield tried to do that as well with Alpha Centauri when you're landing on that planet for the first time to go through the city. But that's very large with a lot of transitions and loading screens and going on like the trains and such. And this game has that as well, or it will likely have that of that huge environment to explore. And maybe you have to walk through it, which is a little annoying at its size. But there could be alternatives for that. But still, I think they did it first, and I think they've done it the best.
As you can see today, the teams are working incredibly hard, ramping up the detail and quality to match the breadth of our vision for Squadron 42.
Now, I know you're all asking, when can I play it?
He's not going to say. Don't get excited. He's not going to say a damn thing. He'll just say, "Hey, we'll let you know, pal." Yeah, okay. I guess they had to address it, but they made it seem like they were announcing it today, or that it'd be, "Oh, dude, you can play it tomorrow." No, it's TBD for now. But hey, I'll be the first to tell you. So make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, hit the like button, because you can only get this information through me. This is what he's implying. Like, oh hey. Only I'm going to tell you, pal.
When we have the locked release date, you will be the first to know.
You'll be the first to know.
Now, we're in
Who else would
polishing
you tell?
phase on Squadron 42. You will start to see a lot more things coming to Star Citizen, as well as overall progress on the persistent universe. The polish phase can take some time. We have come this far, and we want to make sure Squadron 42 delivers on the promise of being this generation's wing commander. Now, even though there's only a few of us in this video, I'd like to extend a big thank you to all our staff around the globe who have been putting their heart and soul into bringing Squadron 42 to life. And I would like to thank everyone in the community for your patience and your support.
I completely agree. I've been as patient as I can, and I'm pretty damn patient with these games. I'm starting to lose it, but this has really given new life into both Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. So good job to all these team leaders and their teams.
To paraphrase Admiral Bishop, when people ask, what did you do in the development of Squadron 42? We can look them in the eye and say, I held the line.
Let's go, baby.
I'm proud to stand with you. Thank you for making this game with us.
And thank you for making a preview video. Wait a minute, what the hell's this? Oh my god. It's EA Games. They've shown up to monetize. No, nobody has more money than Chris Roberts. And that's what it's like when a publisher takes over. All right, Squadron 42, United Empire of Earth, Second Fleet. Very excited for this one. TBD. Hopefully it gives a lot more respect to Star Citizen. Hopefully games like Starfield have given a lot of attention to Star Citizen 2, and now the layup with Squadron 42. All right, well, let me know your thoughts and whatnot down below. I know this video has been kind of probably the laziest one. Nah, they're all lazy, let's be honest. But honestly, I just wanted to go back and reiterate all of my thoughts over like the last couple of days. And I was like, I don't want to cover it again, but hey, it's important to you. And honestly, I put in a ton of time to play Star Citizen, and that was important to me and you. And I'll be playing Squadron 42 whenever it drops. So, yeah. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't gotten into Star Citizen, I would certainly recommend it. Waiting for a free fly event. Just go to robertspaceindustriescom and, follow them on YouTube and wherever else to get more information, both about this game and Star Citizen. Squadron 42 coming soon. I held the line. Let's get it going down below in the comment section, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks. Goodbye.